this time, I need all graduates to go back to their own vehicle areas. We are getting prepared to start the ceremony. All seniors, please go back to your family's own vehicle area so we can get this started. I also remind all families, please acknowledge the social distancing expectations and stay in your parking area by your own vehicle. Please do that so that we can have a great ceremony tonight. Thank you, everybody. Seniors, graduates to be, let's get back to those vehicles so we can get started in about 10 minutes.
Check it.
Welcome, everyone. Please join me in thanking the following partners who helped make this, well, unorthodox ceremony possible. Casper Event Center staff, Central Wyoming Fair and Rodeo, and Tom Jones, David Street Station and Kevin Hawley and Jackie Landis, Max Renton and Mesa Natural Gas Solutions, Donovan Short with Town Square Media, Scott Sterrett, thanks for getting the troubleshooting done on the video screens with Wild Bunch Video, the McMurray Foundation, Casper Police Department, Natrona County Sheriff's Office, and all of our partners within the school district. At this time, I would like to introduce members of the Kelly Walsh High School Marine Junior ROTC program for the presentation of the colors. It will be followed by the anthem by senior and soon-to-be graduate Andrew Brown. And I remind everyone that please stay standing until the colors are retired.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight were so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, members of the Marine Junior ROTC program at Kelly Walsh High School. And one more round of applause for Mr. Andrew Brown. Kelly Walsh families and community, it is so great to be here tonight in so many different ways. And it is a luxury to be able to be together. And I'm asking you guys to help us all out because we want to have a great ceremony, and everything that we can do together as a Kelly Walsh community to continue to mind the social distancing expectations so we can put on an amazing ceremony for these students, we would all greatly appreciate it. Please help us out, help each other out. We appreciate all you're doing. We know this isn't the graduation that you expected. It certainly wasn't for us either, but we're going to make this great tonight. Thanks for being here. Before I have the honor of presenting the class of 2020, I want to take a moment to recognize a Trojan whose life was cut too short to enjoy this moment with his family and friends. While it would be customary for us to leave a vacant chair in his honor, our current circumstances have forced us to be a little more creative to remember James Robertson. His family is parked in the front spot to signify his place with his class. Please join me in a moment of silence to remember James, forever a classmate, friend, and Trojan. Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to invite the chairman of the board, Rita Walsh, to the podium with me. So our agenda is flipped. While Mrs. Walsh, Chairman Walsh comes up, you can see that the agenda is a little different. We're presenting the class at the beginning, and then you will see the prepared speeches, Valedictorian, Salutatorian, all of the speeches at the end. And then we will have the ceremonial tassel change after those speeches, followed by the fireworks show. And so we've adjusted things to accommodate the situation we're in, and we hope it works out really well. We think it will. So at this time, Chairman Walsh and members of the Board of Trustees, I am honored to present the class of 2020 and certify they have met the requirements for graduation.
Thank you, Mr. Britt. And having been certified by Principal Britt as meeting all requirements for graduation by the authority vested in the Board of Trustees of Natrona County School District Number 1, I declare the members of the class of 2020 prepared to receive their diplomas.
Okay, this is where we need everyone's help. Graduates, I really need you at this time at your own vehicles because we don't want to miss anyone. It's not neat, tidy rows and chairs like we would have inside, so you've got to be back to your own vehicles because our ushers are going to work from the back and weave around and make sure we don't miss anyone. So let's make sure you're in your spots. I'm also asking parents, please refrain from trying to come closer to the stage. I know the spots aren't all that great. Try to get a shot as they walk away from the vehicle. Try to get a shot maybe at the big screen. Do our best. We want to mind our manners on the social distancing. We're doing our best, guys. So at this time, it's actually getting queued up. Hey, guys. It's actually working.
Bethany Holdren.
Adrian Espinoza.
Myra Heaton.
Samuel Axt.
Jacob B. Thornton.
Aiden Carnahan.
Alexis Hone.
Chase Dorf.
Rachel Schmucker.
Lucas Alley.
Stacia Atkins.
Randy Slayton.
Madison Rose Vander Linden.
Dennis Wyatt Duncan.
Shaylena Dryling.
Ray Holman.
Denise Christine Mercado.
Kristen Colgrove.
Sam Reed.
Jeanette Tennant.
Ryan Lockery.
Devin King.
Daniel Christensen.
Joshua Malcolm Green.
Torin Reuter.
Kayla Messimer.
Damian Lucero.
Samuel Blyzeffer.
Lily Clark.
Phoenix Buski.
Kelsey Halofka.
Carter Acey.
Madison Williams.
Jameson McDaniel.
Christy Pennell.
Angelique Mercariaga.
Jacob Myers.
Russell Sprecher.
Josiah Matney.
Taj Sutherland.
Trevor Fleetwood.
Austin Newman.
Kylie J. Crane.
Kylie Sullivan.
Jonathan Cox.
Jaden Hardy.
Jeremiah Simmons.
Brooklyn Wistison.
Brooke Sandler.
Ilea Stewart.
Jacob Peasley.
Lane the Riot.
Jeannie Sanders.
Andrea Adams.
Crew Shivers.
Paul Hendricks.
Hadley Hollinger.
Briar Benham.
Zoe Neville.
Michael Bradley.
Sarah Suzanne Struby.
Jace Palmer.
Taylor Rowe.
Isaiah Wiggins.
Corin D. Caruth.
Parker Trujillo.
Jayla Johnson.
Mark Torres.
Isabel Lyons.
Second. Bastian Hansen.
Danielle Moore.
Carson Bridge.
Naya Shamay.
Kennedy Ryan Marvel.
Carter Peverly.
Madison Gallus.
Danilyn Shell.
Emily Cruz.
Ryan Little George.
Gavin Grochowski.
Kyle Woodruff.
Matthew Leviticus Tafoya.
Carter Young.
Colton Danduran.
Tanner Gross.
Burton Bauer.
Kaya Gilmore.
Brenton Brown.
Anastasia Whittle.
Dylan Erickson.
Hannah Joe Bailey.
Take a drink of water.
Jackson McLean.
I'm sweating.
Carson Wright. Keaton Crilly. Stephen Hickstein. Connor McCool. Timothy Aaron Pike. Rebecca Weiss. Cade Armstrong. Maria Lopez. Angelica Harvey.
Carlos Ray Harris.
Bailey Wall.
Nalia Harris.
Travis Moon.
Griselle Hermosillo.
Cosette Koperick.
Davi Thompson Rodriguez.
Mariah Lene Frisbee.
Carter Sanders.
Mason Cade Stillwell.
Isabel Reeker.
Catalian Wilson.
Caitlin Lane.
Alexis Marino.
Jasmine Holden.
Jessica Shimshak.
Maya Ethorn.
Anisha Mitchell.
Brianna Pettit.
Leah Argueta.
Sierra Clark.
Tristan Condelario.
Afton Maxner.
Annalise Fandel.
Elena Lore.
Chloe Riley.
I just want Serena Florine. Yeah, sorry. I've been practicing.
Grace Bueller.
Kayla Fazio. I've been practicing that a long time.
Mackenzie Cummings.
Austin Rogers.
Caitlin Hinton.
Brooke Alyssa Johnson.
Quincy Rizal.
Cameron Elise Scott.
Cassie Haupt.
Kyla Smithson.
Megan Griffin.
Helena Afshar.
Cade Marsh.
Okay.
Abigail Rogers. Hector Moreno. Zarina Morrison. Janelle DeSuno. Sage Eversole.
Damon Brewer.
Emily Ray Boyles.
Christopher Combs.
Annabelle Nicholson.
Caleb William Kudlak.
Jaden Kennedy.
Brady Kennedy.
Jordan Bila.
Ethan Kiggins.
Victoria Gould. Christopher Wolf. Michael Laddie.
Haley Welch.
Haley Kirkwood.
Brandon Tiedemann.
Mackenzie Ray Garrison.
Gabriel Hoyer.
Corey McCarty.
Kinley Jolly.
Beth Parentoni.
Morgan Douglas.
Emma Hume.
Kaya Jolly.
Ariel Johnson.
Jacob Kraft.
Danila Andreeve.
Derek Notice Time.
Alexander Bruce.
William Muldowney.
Afton Bailey.
Sarah Orth.
Julia Burrows.
Maiden Brown.
Jaden Brutzman.
Adriana Job.
Drew Stewart.
Travis Smith.
Jordan Dupree.
Jocelyn Page Moorfield.
Ezra Winfield.
Anna Schmidt.
Corey Robert Hansford.
Elena Griffey.
Kellen Chatterton.
Nicholas Arner.
Yesenia Castilla.
Jaden Arner.
Isaac Price.
Jesse Fakehauser.
Gavin Thomas.
Danae Parker.
Gatlin Edwards.
Michael Oliver.
Andrew Paul Brown.
Rachel Katzman.
Rochelle Marie Trujillo.
Ella Reed.
Jordan Reed.
Genesis M. Lawrence.
Jacob Devin Parsons.
Alexis Headland.
Catherine Johnson.
Aubrey Nelson.
Dara Short.
Connor McBroom.
Ethan Spicer.
Colby Bruce.
Finnegan Studson.
Lane Jackson.
Alex Torres.
Cole Kraus.
Mackenzie Jones.
Sydney Smith.
Mariah Jones.
Dion Potter.
Desiree Smith.
Luke Nathan.
Sophia Coles.
Alyssa Joe Minor.
Sebastian Freeman.
Lainey Deacon.
Raven Howard.
Emily Underwood.
Trayton Meyer.
Miles Austin.
Tyranny Ray Robinson.
Caleb Eastland.
Lindsay Hubert.
Antonia Garner.
Cameron Dean Moore.
Elizabeth Macinas.
Vincent Garcia.
Carly Brower.
Cleston Walker Packard.
John Cusick.
Evan Carlson.
Gunnar Slaymaker.
Reagan Mosteller.
Taylor Saunders.
Hope Dutton.
Morgan Saunders.
Hallie Garnhart Buchanan.
Marissa Wintermote.
Joshua Allen.
Jason Elbat.
Abigail Suzanne Tharp.
Shelby Cadlick.
Ryan Bartholomew. Sorry, sweetheart.
Bridger Cleverly.
They didn't. Haley Berg.
Hannah Glenn.
Fletcher Parrish.
Chance Winter Burton.
Colton Allaire.
Kayla Alsop.
Nevaeh Van Ness. Did I do it right?
Jason Hancock.
You're good, sweetie. Caitlin Owen.
Grace Lutz.
Matthew Coy.
Cody DeCook.
Will Souders.
Camille Province.
Lydia Marie De Leon.
Noah Halsey.
Marin Nicolason.
Kylie Dre.
Gabriella DeVogue.
Lord Asprick.
Making you work, Mr. Brett. You hanging in there? Oh, good. You bet. Tilly Merchant.
Alexandra Brust.
Kyle Brock.
Zach Lovell.
Ronald Spangler.
Sean O'Connor.
Walker Christian.
Vanessa Achoa. Did I say it right? Did I screw it up?
Audrey Adamson.
Alexandria Brimmer.
Christine Harris. Javon Ray Davis Jr.
Zion Graham.
Emery Yusuk.
Xander Keir.
Kevin Blaze Anderson.
Anastasia Huffer.
Taylor Tobin.
Bo Donnellan. Alec Pexton.
Kyler Kazarowski.
Dane Rasmussen.
Jack Coleman.
Hunter Shiva Leverich.
Ian Pfaff.
Ned Murray.
Brandon Hort.
Cy Bradley Meyer.
Ben Mosier.
Nicole Pitt.
Faith Steinberg.
Cooper Hayes.
Connor Harrison.
Alex Starkin.
Joey Teese.
Kate Grabova. Congratulations.
Sepulveda. Marcellus Sepulveda. Did I say it right? You ready?
It is my pleasure to welcome all families, friends, community, and most importantly, the Kelly Walsh High School class of 2020 to the tail end of the 54th commencement ceremony for Kelly Walsh. Whether you're in the parking lots of the Casper Event Center or watching or listening to the live stream from home, we are grateful that you could celebrate with us tonight. I would like to thank the Natrona County School District Board of Trustees, superintendents, and cabinet for their support of this ceremony during the most unusual of circumstances. I especially want to thank Mr. John Sheep, Mrs. Nancy Searcy, and Mrs. Christy Wood for their efforts and drive to make this evening happen in a short amount of time, but with a huge amount of care and love in their hearts. These unusual circumstances have hampered many of our traditional celebrations and recognitions. We have several staff members who are calling it a wrap on their district careers over the next few weeks. The banquet and slideshows didn't happen as in years past.
All right, well, that was just a little intermission, so here we go again. Joseph Qualley.
Elia Nicely.
E.J. Harvey.
Zach Hicks.
Alejandro Duran.
Bailey Borst.
Zeta Trickett. Sorry, Zeta.
Felicity Rose Wilkinson.
Connor Hinsman.
Zachary Haynes.
Preston Quinn.
Gene Roberts Palmer.
Sydney Shupick.
Maggie Jean Miller.
Alex Story.
Jaylyn Ramirez. Also, if you have not come up yet to get your flower and diploma, please do so you're not forgotten. It's not just about the fireworks.
Faith Lockwood.
Sam Norcross.
Kaya Reyes.
Brooke Still.
Grayson Kier.
Gracie Isabel Wise.
Chloe Mondrone.
Alton Cottle.
Josh Anselmi.
It is my pleasure to welcome all families, friends, community, and most importantly, the Kelly Walsh High School class of 2020 to the tail end of the 54th commencement ceremony for Kelly Walsh. Whether you're in the parking lots of the Casper Event Center or watching or listening to the live stream from home, we are grateful that you could celebrate with us tonight. I would like to thank the Natrona County School District Board of Trustees, superintendents, and cabinet for their support of this ceremony during the most unusual of circumstances. I especially want to thank Mr. John Sheep, Mrs. Nancy Searcy, and Mrs. Christy Wood for their efforts and drive to make this evening happen in a short amount of time, but with a huge amount of care and love in their hearts. These unusual circumstances have hampered many of our traditional celebrations and recognitions. We have several staff members who are calling it a wrap on their district careers over the next few weeks. The banquet and slideshows didn't happen as in years past, but our appreciation for the following retirees is just as strong. Congratulations to the following as they enter a new chapter in their lives: Nancy Searcy, Denise McAfee, Jamie Cordinaire, Becky Robinson, Sandy Boucher, Sharon Bonk, Laura Gamble, and Tammy Wingett. For a couple of our graduates, their drive and commitment to academic excellence have earned them this opportunity to address their classmates, family, and friends. I would like to introduce our Salutatorian, Julia Burrows, to say some words to all of you. She will be followed by our Valedictorian, Chance Burton.
Welcome class of 2020 and the esteemed parents, faculty, and guests who have joined us online and in cars today. My name is Julia Burrows, though some of you may know me as Julia, Julia, or some other nickname that I shouldn't say on camera. Today is an exciting day, not only because we graduate to a more fulfilling life, but because a month ago we didn't know if today would be possible. Before I begin, I'd like to thank a couple of people. To my mom, who made everything into a science lesson. To my dad, who taught me how to fix just about everything in our house. And to every teacher, whether mine or not, who put countless hours into every student's success. Thank you. Your work has not gone unnoticed. I remember walking into Mr. Howry's class the first day of freshman year and being sat, of course, in alphabetical order. I was seated in the front row and, well, Mr. Burton over here was seated in the second. Well, Chance, I want you to know that today is the only day Burton will come before Burrows. Like many of you, I was scared and anxious for what was to come over the next 4 years. But as I reminisce about all of us, arguably the most attractive class to grace Kelly Walsh halls, I think about all of the great times we spent together. Now, I can't for the life of me tell you why I come up with a song for every unit of every subject I study with, which includes, but is not limited to, my rendition of My Humps by the Black Eyed Peas, going something roughly like, my pumps, my electron transport pumps, but I can tell you why you should take some time to reflect about your high school experience with me during this speech. If for a second you pause and take in all that you've been through these past 4 years, even past 12, you will all discover your own memories and lessons. I can't speak for what each of you will feel, but personally, I think about the interactions that I've had with all of you, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We, as a class, share a bond that will live in us forever. Our first football games, where I admit I sometimes went too hard, our first co-ed or proms, our first relationships, our second relationships, okay, and the third ones. But these interactions have taught me that time is precious with each other. Now believe me, I am not the same person I was when I first got here. I'm sure many of you feel that about yourselves too. I mean, I got bangs and had many breakdowns, as I'm sure most of you have witnessed. But I've also become a champion and a better person with the help of all of you. Some of you have offered me chocolate during said breakdowns. Some of you have encouraged me when I was on the brink of giving up both mentally and physically. However, all of you have shown me what hard work and dedication looks like. Every day at Kelly Walsh, I saw Trojans pursuing their ambitions, their classes, their friendships, their extracurriculars, all just as valid as the next. We Trojans are all successful in our own way. High school and the interactions that we have had during it have taught us how to motivate ourselves to our own victory. We all have succeeded in our own way because we have all helped each other to be successful. Learning our own lessons and bringing it with us as we say goodbye is so precious and so beautiful. As we stand here As I stand here, a soon-to-be high school graduate with all of you, the only advice I have to offer is to remember those who made you. And on that note, I will never forget this class of 2020. Like TikTok once said, it was nice to know ya, let's do it again. Thank you.
In a desperate attempt to stay in shape during quarantine, Fletcher Parrish and I have been training for triathlon. Most pools are closed, and running, well, is running. So, let's just say I've been on a lot of bike rides lately. We always have some sort of destination in mind, but if you know anything about Fletcher and me, we usually wind up in what we affectionately call BOFO. Lucky for us, the destination was never the point. It was the scenic route, made up of massive hill climbs and our soon-to-be massive quads. It's not about where we end up, it's all about the ride. The last 4 years have been like a crazy bike ride for all of us, and I've been known to hang right on the edge when it comes to my schoolwork. Of course, this caused a lot of people a lot of stress, including many teachers and my amazing mom. During a particularly stressful time in my academic career, my wonderful, beautiful, darling mother looked at me and said, you know, if you do end up as a valedictorian, I can't think of anyone who deserves it less. I really wish I could disagree. Turns out my mom was right about other things too, including her choice of greatest all-time sports moment. In the 2008 Beijing Olympics, Michael Phelps was hunting a record number of medals with a win in the 4x100 freestyle relay. After swimming his leg, all Phelps could do was watch as his team slowly fell behind the favored French. When Jason Lezak dove in for the final leg, already more than half a second behind the French world record holder, Alain Bernard, it seemed hopeless. Lezak held his ground, but didn't gain for the first pool length and a half. I remember watching and hearing the announcer say that what the Americans needed now was a miracle. And then they got one. In the last 25 meters, 32-year-old Lezak buried his head and surged, out-touching Bernard by less than a tenth of a second, securing Phelps' record 8th gold. We all need our own Jason Lezak sometimes. Personally, I have a lot. First, our amazing classmates. Every borrowed pencil, late-night text reminding me about the homework, and good laugh is what got me through. Julia, you're a lifesaver. To our awesome counselors, Mrs. Slensker, thanks for believing in me, even when I didn't. Our administration for always being willing to stick their necks out for me. Thanks, Britt. And our teachers, thanks for putting up with my crap and not giving up on me. Fire, I'm looking at you. So here we are, just like at the end of a grueling bike ride or a heated relay. Tired, a bit sore maybe, but finished. We made it. Standing here, there's something I've realized. There are some good times. The late nights, the hair pulling, nail biting stress, even the lectures from teachers when we goof off a bit too much. All of it. My dad has told me there's two types of fun. The kind where you spend the entire time thinking about how much fun you're having. And the kind, like a long bike ride, where you spend the entire time thinking, wow, this sucks. But afterwards you look back and realize it was actually a lot of fun. I'll let you decide which of those you thought the last 4 years have been. But I'll say this, graduating isn't what made the time we spent for it worthwhile. Instead, it was the journey. The time we've all spent together, the forgotten homework, the tests we've all come out of with lower self-esteem than when we walked in, the musicals, the concerts, the Friday night lights, watching our Lady Trojans dominate the volleyball court, seeing blood and sweat pay off for our wrestlers. For the few who came to swim meets, those happened. Watching our basketball team start another championship year, but never finish it. Quarantine, online classes, teachers struggling with Google Meets, and now our unique graduation. All of it comes together, not to produce an outcome, but an experience. The best days are still ahead of us. As the great Uncle Ira once said, you are stronger and wiser and freer than you ever used to be. And now, you have come at the crossroads of destiny. This isn't our first crossroad and it won't be our last, but we can enjoy every one of them. Remember, these are the good old days. Enjoy the ride.
I want to start by addressing the obvious. This was not what we all had in mind when we pictured the class of 2020 celebrating their graduation from high school. We all wanted the anxiousness of rehearsal that would have occurred this morning, where Mr. Sheep would have laid down the graduation ceremony law. He would have given you the guidelines about where to park and enter the building, instructed you to not use cell phones during the ceremony, and of course reminded you that we don't decorate our caps at Kelly Walsh. So here we are, keeping you in the parking lot, streaming the ceremony on your cell phones, and encouraging you to decorate your caps tonight. As I was preparing for tonight, my wife sent me a meme from Instagram that I felt like was a good analogy for this graduating class. I'm using my poetic license and changing the color of the vehicle in the saying. It's easy to spot a green car when you're always thinking of a green car. It's easy to spot opportunity when you're always thinking of opportunity. It's easy to be mad when you're always thinking of being mad. You become what you constantly think about, so watch yourself. Now, I did a bit of research so I could properly credit the source, and I found so many origins of the saying, from ancient philosophers to mental fitness gurus. And the roots of the saying, and the message is clear regardless. Those who choose to focus on and live in the negative will find themselves in more negative situations. And conversely, those who keep their eyes open for the positives in their world tend to be more positive. With that being said, I want to focus on the glow that the class of 2020 has been shining on Kelly Walsh High School for the last 4 years. It would be a difficult, if not impossible, task to identify a class who has shown more growth and accomplished so much as a whole during their high school tenures. Academically, you have had your share of national merit semifinalists and finalists, collectively earned hundreds of thousands of dollars in scholarships, and gained admittance into some of the most prestigious universities in the country. If we took a close look, I have a feeling this group has won the most regional and state championships of any class in a 4-year span. We have several student athletes taking their athletic talents and team-first mentalities to compete at the next level. Our theater department has produced phenomenal musicals and plays. Our student council is a leader in our region. And our band, choirs, and orchestra develop some of the most talented musicians and performers that you could find in any high school. Then go back 4 years ago, when this crew, as little terrified freshmen, walked in the doors of the new Kelly Walsh High School, after older brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, moms and dads told them it would never be the same in the pretty new building with no history behind it, no character. Yet this group embraced the challenge to build on the legacy of Kelly Walsh High School, where they would be the first group to attend all of their years in the new place. Their first lesson in acceptance was towards the school building. Because there are so many examples in this class of our 4 pillars of excellence, academics, athletics, activities, and acceptance, it is only fitting that the students themselves tell us their stories through the lens of each of the pillars. We will start the journey with Andrew Brown, representing the pillar of academics.
Hello, class of 2020, we've made it. I don't know about any of you, but if you would have told me our freshman year that this is how our senior year would come to a close, I would have called you crazy. Nonetheless, nothing can take away the magic that we all have been able to make inside the walls of Kelly Walsh High School, and especially now the pandemic. Today, our lives have led us to this special moment because of one imperative thing: education. I can recall the countless nights where I would return home from school and sit down to eat dinner. My parents would ask me the never-ending question that I'm sure many of you have heard: what did you learn at school today? I would always say, ugh, nothing. I would always act in a sense of annoyance that this was the only question I was asked after school. I wish I would have answered it differently though. I wish I would have told them that today I learned how to build bonds and friendships in those dreaded group assignments, both the good and the bad. I wish I would have told them that today I learned how to problem solve mentally strenuous math equations that were not the most enjoyable, but taught me that I will always have problems that I need to work out around in life to solve. I wish I would have told them that today I learned that just because I'm an 18-year-old boy living in Wyoming does not mean that I can't make a change in this world and fight for what I believe in. That I can have the power to demand progress be made in the issues that I'm passionate about. I wish I would have told them that today I found out what I want to do with my life. I learned that with passion and drive, I will achieve everything I could ever want to succeed at in life. That is what I think of when I see the word academics. My mind does not jump straight to the conventional subjects such as math, science, or English. Instead, while all those subjects are important, it is the notion of education and academics providing the foundations of creating well-balanced and informed citizens that I can think of. Our studies teach us how to be empathetic and respectful towards other people and to learn from past mistakes that our country and world have made. School teaches us teamwork and to build stability and trust among people. It teaches us how to exemplify hard work and a drive to always continue learning, no matter what your interests are. And I think most importantly, school showed me the people who will always have my back. I would be willing to bet that each and every one of the people about to walk across this stage found compassion and love from someone at school, whether it be a best friend, a teacher, a cafeteria worker, absolutely anything. Mr. Diller would always tell us that it is not the walls or building that defines Kelly Walsh High School. It is the people. People who constantly find topics or areas of interest that they're passionate about. People who learn how to properly care for someone and someone else in their feelings. With the power of education and the relationships created because of it, we're simply unstoppable. For some of us, the last time we will ever walk into a classroom was on March 20th, a seemingly normal day. Some will continue on to attend universities, trade schools, community colleges, and some will immediately hit the ground running and begin their new lives. If there's one thing I can leave you with, it's this. Regardless of where you plan on attending any form of school in the future or not, I implore you to always seek new things to learn. Read the news, not the fake news, the real news. Have in-depth conversations with other people, 6 feet apart. If you constantly improve your knowledge, even past school, you will continue to develop yourself as someone who lives by the foundational principles that school has taught us. Because let's face it, the class of 2020 has already proved itself to be one of the most resilient classes to ever walk across the graduation stage. We have learned to adapt to an obstacle that we would have never imagined would come. But it made us stronger, and only proves that our class will be the ones to solve societal issues, create bountiful peace and friendships, and ultimately make the world a better place. I leave you with a quote by Martin Luther King Jr. The foundation of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. Thank you, and I'm immensely proud to be a part of the class of 2020. We are Kelly Walsh.
These last 4 years for the class of 2020 have been historic to say the least. Every athlete has many things to give to those who have supported them. The athletic pillar at Kelly Walsh stands for so much more than just sports. The friendships and bonds made between each other will last a lifetime. Every athlete at Kelly Walsh has experienced one of these bonds, and every athlete at Kelly Walsh has also experienced the championship culture that is present. Whether it be winning a state championship or becoming a champion of yourself, the next steps in our lives will not be easy, but the lessons gained from sports will help with those steps. Every athlete knows how to improve themselves to become the best they can be. Every time there is competition, improvement is inevitable. In the last 4 years, Kelly Walsh has won approximately 80% of our rivalry events and has been crowned with 23 state championships in various sports and events. The class of 2020 has been dominant in every aspect and will continue to do that at their next step. All athletes in their careers, whether it be over or still continuing, have played a special part in Kelly Walsh's history and legacy. The students going to college and starting to work will be beyond successful because of who they have become through athletics at Kelly Walsh. The class of 2020 has upwards of 30 individuals who will move on to the collegiate athletics. The chance of being college athletes are at 7%, and I know that each one will be prepared for this part of their lives. The time spent at Kelly Walsh has prepared every single one for this next step. My individual next step is to continue my academic and athletic career at the University of Wyoming to become the best version of myself. I could not have achieved this without my teammates and coaches at Kelly Walsh. I and many other athletes at Kelly Walsh have been instilled with quality that cannot be replaced. These qualities will transverse into our lives and give us the opportunity to become successful. The class of 2020 will be remembered for years to come, not only because of the championship numbers, but because of the legacy the athletes, coaches, and faculty have imprinted onto Kelly Walsh. We are Kelly Walsh.
There's so much I feel expected to mention in this speech. It's the elephant in the room. The fact that you're watching me on a screen from your cars rather than in person. This isn't anything like the graduation we expected, or the glaringly obvious that our senior year was nothing short of robbed from us. But after this, I don't want to talk about it anymore, and I'm sure you don't want to hear about it anymore. I'm tired of the pity and the constant reminders that we're, for whatever reason, different, or won't even say special. I just want to feel like a normal high school senior doing this one last normal high school senior thing. So let's do it. Let's be normal high schoolers again. Instead of the sob stories, let's talk about the best parts of high school and where we made our best memories. For me, most of those memories were in the activities I was involved in. I've been involved in K-Dub Theater for 3 years, and for that amount of time, I know an embarrassingly little amount about music and don't even remember how time signatures work. But what I do remember is walking through Austria with some of my best friends, listening to a street performer play Celine Dion on a harpsichord. I remember standing backstage before concerts with butterflies waiting to go on for a solo. It wasn't until my first year of Model UN that I knew, or frankly cared much about human rights and how a lack of educational opportunities in third world countries leads directly to abuse, poverty, and oppression. I wouldn't have even bothered writing this speech had it not been for speech and debate because I would still be too nervous to public speak. Activities aren't just necessarily something we do for fun. They shape our passions, teach us lessons, and give us places to create some of our best memories. But the most important, beside all of that, is the relationships we make. I did my first KW musical 6 years ago, and I would have never guessed that that's how I would meet my best friend, or that we would have such an amazing friendship. We have a teacher who's as much of a teacher as he is a friend, and I've spent more time both crying and laughing with the KW Theater Department than I have probably any other group. I'm lucky to belong somewhere like KW Theater. Maybe it's cheesy, but I don't really care what anyone else thinks about my activity, and I don't think you should either. Our passions have nothing to do with the opinions of others, and everything to do with the opinions of ourselves. The thing about our activities is that it's not just the formalities or the hour-long meetings once a week. They're things we carry with us throughout our lives. If you feel like you haven't found your place yet or your group, then don't worry. That's what's so cool about our pillars. They're things that extend just beyond our high school life. They're things that we need to carry with us to be healthy and successful adults. Maybe you were never in science club or National Honor Society, but activities are anything that make your heart beat a little faster, something you can't wait to do more in your free time. But the thing that makes the activities we involve ourselves in are the people we involve ourselves with while doing them. So whether you've found your group or not, don't stop looking. There's always something new to learn and maybe a new passion to make. Best of all, you'll never know who you'll meet. We've been lucky to attend a school so diverse in its organizations. Despite our challenges, it's these activities that, for many of us, will help us to go on to achieve greatness. And I know we won't stop until we do, because we are Kelly Walsh.
Hello, good evening Kelly Walsh family, friends, members of our community, staff, faculty, and of course, the Kelly Walsh class of 2020. My name is Gabby DeVoe, and I will be speaking on how Kelly Walsh has helped me with acceptance. First, I would like to say thank you to all of our frontline heroes, essential workers, everyone involved in making this graduation possible, and to those who are putting in their time during this COVID-19 pandemic. I would also like to take a moment to say that our hearts are with those who are currently battling this virus, and to the families who have lost a loved one due to COVID-19. As I'm sure some of you have noticed, I am a minority, not only to Kelly Walsh, but to Wyoming as well. I was born in Mexico, on the streets, and to a mother who chose drugs over her own daughter. When the Mexican government took me from my mom, I was placed into an orphanage, and I waited there for 7 months until I, along with my younger sister, was adopted by our 2 loving parents. My parents were thrilled. They now had 2 new babies to call theirs. However, our never-ending journey began the moment we crossed the El Paso, Mexico border. Because we were adopted by 2 Americans, my sister and I were supposed to automatically become Americans as well, but unfortunately, these past 18 years have been far from smooth sailing. In the summer of 2018, for my junior year, my parents got a phone call from our immigration lawyer. She told them that we would have to leave the country to finish our citizenship before I turned 18 on January 21st, 2020. If we stayed to finish the citizenship, there was a chance that I would be picked up from ICE, deported, and not be able to return to the United States for 10 more years. My parents were not willing to take that chance. 1 year later, we made our grand departure from here to Mexico. When my parents told me about the necessary move, I was embarrassed and I was ashamed. I told people I was moving without telling them why. I avoided telling anyone until my parents made a GoFundMe to support our move financially. At this point, I couldn't avoid telling people why I was really leaving, and within days, I was approached by multiple teachers asking me how I felt, giving me guidance, all because the GoFundMe made our situation public knowledge. My fellow students were sympathetic, asking me if I needed any help, praying over me, and giving me guidance as well. I regretted not being open about my situation in the first place. I knew that a school like Kelly Walsh wouldn't judge me for a situation. When I left for Mexico, I had all the support I needed all in one school. During my 8 months away, my teachers continuously checked in on me. My friends continuously communicated with me. And it all felt like I never left in the first place. When I returned home after getting our green cards, I called Kelly Walsh Counseling Office to immediately get enrolled back into classes. I heard the voice of Mrs. Sutton. I told her my name, and the first words she said were, "Gabi, hi, I'm so glad you're back." The most comforting 9 words I could ever hear. To this day, and forevermore, I will have the utmost respect for Kelly Walsh and all of its faculty, all of its staff, and all of its students. They do their best to honor everyone as their own person, but yet they accept everyone for who they are. Thank you to Mr. Britt, who chose me to speak tonight, and a huge thank you to Kelly Walsh for the best 4 years I could ask for. Thank you for accepting me and all of your students. Congratulations, class of 2020. Our new journeys begin. We are Kelly Walsh.
Through the stories you've just heard, it should be no surprise that this is an exceptional class of Trojans who will not be deterred from their goals and dreams. Maybe because these graduates were born in the wake of the 9/11 terrorist attacks, we should have known they were born to persevere and glow in their resilience and strength. A different kind of ceremony is hardly a bump in the road to your next stop, whether it is college, trade schools, the military, or straight into the workforce. The fact that you've already crossed the stage at this point in the ceremony and are simply waiting for Katie Johnson to instruct you to move your tassels from the right to the left is hardly a blip on your radars. The class of 2020 did not choose to survive this year. They instead chose to dominate their high school careers at Kelly Walsh. You made good choices. You exemplified what it means to be Trojan perfect, and you have all earned your swords. Congratulations on your accomplishments and good luck on your next steps. Your classmates, our staff, the alums, and our community will be cheering you on because we are Kelly Walsh. Thank you. Round of applause for those amazing student speakers. They were fantastic. So we have one more introduction and one more little ceremony that we need to do to make this official. And you can see our pace has been pretty incredible tonight, and it's not quite dark yet, but we're looking at some early fireworks just at dusk. So hang on there. We'll get some new word on that. But at this time, I would like to introduce our senior class president, Katie Johnson, to the podium for the ceremonial tassel change. Seniors, get ready with your caps.
All right. Seniors, please exit your vehicles. Okay. Please turn your tassel from the right to the left. Congratulations, Kelly Walsh, class of 2020. Woo!